Peace, y'all. Welcome to the Real HD Show. I'm your host, Vic. You have reached prime time with a purpose. It's a hump day on the Real HD Show. So we like to do things just a little bit different on that day. We're still going to bring you that awareness so you could be fearless, so you don't have to be out here moving careless. But we are going to bring you some articles and news and issues and the good, the bad, the ugly of our people without on a different basis, not without, but on a different level. As usual, like, share, subscribe, and turn on all your notifications. So every time we have a Real HD Show episode, you guys can be informed and we can have a higher discussion. Share. Everybody jump in here. We allowing a couple of people to get in the building. Real HD Show chat, where you at? Show up time. I'm going to put the link in the chat room one more again. I put it in there twice today. So anybody who's on the chat could just scroll, find the link, and find the show. Okay, my phone want to be on 5% when I'm just trying to knock stuff out, right? Okay, so we're going to put this in the link. We're going to put this in the chat to let you know where we're at. Total Package Energy, melanated company, Olympic tested people approved. Make sure you mess with Total Package Energy whenever you're in that 3 o'clock crash cycle that some of us like to get into. Please make sure that you are on board and you get yourself some of that. It's all natural ingredients. So all positivity going on there, and no crash afterwards. You know what I'm saying? You don't get the itchies, you don't get the jitters. It's just you having, almost like having a piece of fruit. They do it in liquids, powders, gels, teas, juices, waters. But it is not Gatorade or Red Bull or any of those, Celsius or any of those types of drinks. It's Total Package Energy. Go there, tell them the Real HD Show sent you. Also, make sure that you are rocking with Redeem Vacations. That's right. You could either become a customer or a client or a representative. Okay? That means you can own your own business through Redeem Vacations. The Real HD Show is a sponsor of the Real HD Show, and it's going to sponsor the Real HD Show. And if you bring 5 people to any of the Real HD Show shows, right? So we're talking Simply Supreme, we're talking Broadcast Beats, we're talking, Big House Breakdown, or any of the Real HD shows, you too can get a 4-day, 3-night vacation to a destination near you. Redeem Vacations. And please give as much as you can in the way that you can to $, the Real HD Show Cash App. Why? Because we're doing our Sync Razor fundraiser. We've been doing it for a while. We have a pretty lofty goal, $1,600. What that would allow us to do is to bring you all the music, all the crazy, all the wily stuff that we do on here that allows us to bring it to you without copyright issues, without deletions, without blackouts or mutes within the frame of the program. And we can go back to what we used to do when we were, exclusively doing radio, and we can do it on the Real HD show and give you a full scope of what the higher discussion is all about. Because when we do these crazy articles and we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of our culture, ourself, and our world, we often need to heal because some of that stuff could be real crazy. You know what I mean? Like dystopian crazy. And then some of it, not so much. Some of us have it's your voice, your victory on the Real HD show. But sometimes we'll have disagreements. Sometimes we'll have meltdowns. Sometimes people will just bounce off the show because they don't agree with the tone and tenor of the show. That's cool. But we do, despite all of it, we need to heal. We need to heal. And we do that through Freedom Music. Our Freedom Music moment comes in between our segments. And we want you to be a part of that. And you can help us by donating to our Cash App fund, $ The Real HD Show, so we can get our sync license popping and we can get rocking. All right, y'all. So please share this show right now so everybody could jump on board. Here is the call letters. StreamYard.com, XZKBRTJG58. And I'm going to check that one more time just to make sure I have it right. XZKBRTJG58. All right. And I'm also going to test that based on what's going on on Facebook and where I uploaded that to the chat so that the chat knows that we're live, we're going, and they could jump in if they want to swim. You know what I mean? We getting deep enough. So what are we doing? Okay, we're checking our show alerts. Yeah. So I'll put that in there and we're going to pop that up really quick. Okay. So let's look at it here. XZKBR. Let's look at it there. XZKBR. Let's look at it here. TJG58. TJG58. And if anybody's in the chat that wants to pop up to the show and they cannot, just hit me on it. Just call the chat room and let me know that that's you. And we will make a way for this to pop off because it has to. Today's hump day. We got a lot to cover. We got a lot of awareness to get to. So let's get to it. Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. Because we are living on the shoulders of greatness, y'all. Y'all don't know that. Y'all don't know that. So one of the very first joints that I want to get to is something that I wanted to show you guys the other day. It's called The Hill. And it was one of the very first towns in the United States after the Civil War. But it was a black town. And we've learned on the Real HD show, we've learned how many, many towns in America have been compromised, have been destroyed, have been levied, submerged in either a water or a river or some sort of park or some sort of national forestation that they created just to get rid of that particular town. That's right. We had about 60 black towns or more between 1870 and what is America today. And almost none of them still exist. But this one did. And we're going to show you this right here on the Real HD show. Let's go. Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. Here we go.
Well, welcome to the Hill.
Visitors tour the sleepy town of Easton in Maryland, which may have just become an historic landmark in American history.
This story really goes back to the 1770s in order to really understand how this came about.
It was during an archaeological dig that researchers unearthed evidence that this neighborhood, known as the Hill, could have been the oldest community of free African Americans in the United States, settled at a time when most were enslaved for nearly another century.
We're able to tell completely, fully the American story, not just a black story, because it is American history, of how this integrated society was sustained. Now, we excavated at this site this summer.
Researchers cross-referenced early land records with coins, tools, and pottery dating back to the late 18th century. Proof, they say, that free blacks and whites lived together on this property around 1790. But locals, many of whom can trace their Easton roots back hundreds of years, aren't surprised by the discovery. Kiefer Copper has found so many artifacts over the years, he's even started digging in his own backyard.
Because I do historical work on houses and everything, so I done found a lot of old marbles, clay marbles, and skeleton keys, and stuff like that.
This region, rich in history, was also home to abolitionist heroes like Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. And so, with the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington approaching, locals reflect on centuries of civil rights struggles.
So as we commemorate in perpetuity these different milestones in our history, like the 50th anniversary of such, we can always come back to a place like this, America's oldest, that can speak to all these different eras of our history.
Green cautions that tours and research will continue for years. There is still much more work to be done.
All right, so that was our Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. That was about a place called the Hill in Tennessee that might just be up there with one of the oldest towns in the entire country. It's definitely the oldest township for black folks. All right, here we go. Update. What are we updating? Well, last show we had, should I do that now? All right, I'll save the update for later. But just to remind everybody, that's the link down there. StreamYard.com, XZKBRTJG58. And we're here for this tonight. Banana and a Tailpipe season part 6. This or that, how you moving these days. So that means this episode is going to delve into some personal decision making that we as a people do during this really polarizing season era, for that matter. How are we moving? How are we conducting ourselves? How are we making it all happen? How are we making our decisions? Are we hand to mouth? Are we applying a little bit of strategy to it? Are we being and elevating ourselves to be better? Or are we spending a lot of time on food, clothing, and shelter? When our people have done that before, our people have been fully on the food, clothing, and shelter train, that desperation train that we all kind of ride from time to time. That makes us feel like we have to be less than ourselves. Hey man, let us know how you feel. What are you talking about? And are you purporting yourself in a very particular way? so that you will not be, at the mercy of the Trojan horse. You want to be riding into town like Hannibal, ready to conquer, not part of the Trojan horse or a de facto Trojan horse because of your involvement with things. You know what I mean? So we're going to get to another piece, right? We're moving on. We're moving on. If you want to comment on the Ancestors and Elders blueprint clip on the Hill and that community, if you know anything about it, if you're down with it, if you know your ancestors that were involved with the Hill, please let us know. Rock with us on the Real HD Show. Hope everybody can hear me. Let me check my audio real quick. All right, audio seems to be popping. All right, great. So let's go. AAT report. Let's go. Hey, welcome to the AAT report created by my brother Sincere. This is a part of the program where we attempt to make you healthy, wealthier, and wiser with some health information, because after the pandemic, health is definitely the new wealth. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody talk about. Health is the new wealth. You can have all the bread in the world you want. If you got to be like Senator Kennedy and rolling around in a wheelchair, that's going to significantly put a hamper on how you use that wealth and what that wealth means to you. For real, for real. So tonight on the AAT report, we're going to go back to Sister Soldier. Fair use, fair use. Not Sister Soldier. I'm sorry. I'm calling her out her name. Let me start that again. Tonight on the AAT report, we're going back to Queen of Four. That's right, Queen of Four, with some more words of wisdom for us. And it's something that we can do that will help us be better once we rise from our slumber, and it can help to activate the body and make us better people. All right, check this out. AAT report, Queen of Four, How to Rise. Real HD Show.
Movement for bringing the soul back to life.
So they lay down,
On in the bed.
right?
The pillows are already there.
Elevate
Your
their feet.
legs are elevated over the pillows and just lay.
Yeah, I do that now.
10 minutes, that's
good,
all.
yeah.
Before you get out of the bed in the morning, and you can do massaging to wake up the prostate, to wake up the uterus, get the body ready, and then do it before you go to sleep at night, 10 minutes. And just a couple hold hands and do it and breathe together. It will unify you.
Wow. All right. So that was Queen of Four on movement. Movement when you rise. So a lot of us get that movement in when we rise. And, if a brother has risen, he's usually nudging his lady. So they could have a happy morning together. You know what I'm saying? They could have a happy grand rising together. Don't get me started on the phallic symbol in the whole piece. But what Queen of Four talked about was very interesting. And from her point of view, rising, you're going to massage or kind of stimulate certain body parts in your private regions, not in a sexual nature, but in a nature just to wake it up. In a nature to wake it up. So it's almost like if you were getting ready to, run on a track or work out in football, basketball, baseball, whatever your sport might be, weightlifting, you stretch, right? That's because you want the blood to flow. That's because you want good elasticity within the muscles. You want to eliminate lactic acid. Well, guess what? The same thing applies for your sexual regions. You got to wake it up. You got to wake up the prostate. You got to wake up the uterus. You got to wake up the seminal vesicle. You got to wake it up. You got to wake up all them areas so that they function properly, and not just sexually properly, but properly for your overall health. Because, we have chakras all over the body. And one of the main chakras is right in that region, which is why it's important to be intentional when you lay down with somebody. You know what I mean? Because intentions will happen whether you want it to or not, because you guys are sharing that energy. But if you're sharing the energy in a healthy way, if you're in a relationship and you're doing you do, and Queen of Four was dope about telling us how to wake up those regions that we don't always pay attention to. I massage you, you massage me, we wake up, we get into our day. And if that leads to a healthy exchange, then it's a healthy exchange, damn it. And if it doesn't, at least the two of you guys will be connected in the way that you guys are doing it, in the way that you guys are servicing one another. And that's so apropos for some of the things that we're going to get into tonight on the show. And once again, XZKBRTJG58 is the call letters down below. You can jump in if you'd like, and we can have a higher discussion. It's your voice, your victory, right here on the Real HD Show. No one is wrong, no one is right. We don't have echo chambers here. We just want the conversation in a form of a higher discussion. So let's go back to Queen of Four, and she's going to tell us about this dope product called Breath of Life. And this could have went into our community tab, because I got this, being a student of hers years ago. But this time she's with Sister Erica Badu, and they're informing these PC ladies of what the Breath of Life does and how it helps us health-wise, efficiently, and how it helps us to be sustained. Here we go. Real HD Show, Breath of Life, Queen of Four, AAT report. Here we go.
Tummy, headache, throat, nose, purification, wake up, sleep.
Wow.
And I started with my whole trail with asthma, so it helps with respiratory issues. I have chronic asthma, allergies.
Yeah, really?
Takes that type
It's
of
all
thing,
gone,
clears it
huh?
out.
And it clears it all up, the nasal passages.
Yeah.
Ooh, fresh breath. Yeah.
With osmosis. She's like looking okay.
Do you make your own then? You make it? Yeah. Nice. Ooh, that's good. That's a lot better than strong those that we have.
Okay. You'll wait.
That's good.
Go right to a treatment.
All right. So that was the Breath of Life by Queen of Four. And your brother here has taken that, and that thing will change your life. When I mean change your life, that thing will change your life. Let me know. Let me look in the chat and see if there's any issues with the link. It shouldn't be. You guys can jump on whenever you're ready. You guys, the water's fine. Come on through. Let me know if you guys are having problems with the link. You shouldn't be. All right, just waiting on y'all. Oh, Brother Mozzie's in the building. Brother Mozzie can, you give Brother Mozzie a map, and he gonna find the treasure.
I hope so.
he gonna find that treasure. You know what I'm saying? We talking about Queen of Four, man, Breath of Life, and that was just our AAT report, and also about work that you could do in the morning with your significant other that will help stimulate certain chakras, certain body organs, certain sexual organs, so that they do the job that it was intended for within the body, not just the sexual job, but also the energetic capacity. She recommended that, you help your partner stimulate her uterus. Your partner can help massage and help you stimulate your prostate. And those things make for healthy starts within the morning. If it leads to a connection, that's what it leads to. But if it don't, at least you guys are sharing a connection for the moment. But go ahead, bro. What you saying?
Oh, I said we all big kids.
Yeah, for sure. It's a grown folk program. You know what I mean? You can tell the babies about it, but kind of edit out. You know, when Brother Mozzie get the cussing, you gotta you gotta edit that out because brother Mozzie got a potty mouth. I'm teasing. No, he don't. Brother Mega, what's going on with you, bro?
Blessings and salute, brothers. How you doing?
Peace.
Hope all is well.
Yeah, everything's going good, man. We just heard Queen of Four. Talking. Matter of fact, I'll play it again since you brothers. And this was on the Breakfast Club. Fair use. This is about us kind of rising, having a grand rising in a proper way, and also finding connection with one another in some very interesting ways.
Was that when she was with her son there too? Supernova?
No, this is not the one with Supernova. This is her by herself, I believe.
Okay, cool.
But let me play this one more time. Fair use. Here we go. Queen of Four.
For bringing the soul back to life.
So they lay down.
On in the bed.
Right.
The pillows are already there.
Elevate
Your
their
legs
feet.
are elevated over the pillows and just lay.
Yeah, I do that now.
10 minutes, that's
good,
all. Before you get out of the bed in the morning, and you can do massaging to wake up the prostate, to wake up the uterus, get the body ready, and then do it before you go to sleep at night, 10 minutes. And there's a couple hold hands and do it and breathe together. It will unify you.
There you go. So now we got an elder sister talking about what's going to unify us. Yeah, man. We got an elder sister talking about what we could do to unify one another, not break each other apart, not cause divisiveness and division. Thank you for the sound effect, Brother Mecca. Anybody want to talk on that? I wish Sister Aurora was on because that would be a good one for her, or Jazz. That would be a great one for them to comment on.
I think in the world we live in, I think it helps for brothers to understand, the totality of who they are. Sex isn't just a carnal thing.
Right.
It's just other aspects. And as you develop yourself and understand you're different and can manipulate your chakras, it moves you to a different state in terms of how we interact with each other. And the same thing with sisters. We got the black girl magic and the hot girl summers going on. Sisters are acting like dudes, man. I mean, let's call it like it is. So they got to now kind of get back to who they are in terms of the feminine principle and what it is and how it functions. So I think little things like that, if we start to integrate them into who we are and what we do, I think it'll definitely make for better relationships. So
beautiful.
Yeah, man. So that was Queen of Four, and she also, I showed the video with her, Erykah Badu, talking with some white ladies about Breath of Life. And Breath of Life is this really ill mixture: cayenne pepper, ginger, whole bunch of stuff. You take it in the morning with your warm water, and it just opens up your whole piece, like ear, nose, and throat. It's all wide open, and you're breathing fresh, and fresh breath and all of the good stuff. You know what I mean? And it's not fostered, it's not fluoride, it's none of those type of things. I'm not saying it's some sort of miracle cure-all, but we all know when we sleep in that bed and we get the snoring and we get the mucus going and we get all that other stuff popping, you kind of do need something in the morning to open you up, clear you up, get you moving in that direction. And I really believe that's why grandma and grandpa used to hit that tea so hard, it helped open them up in the morning, you know what I mean? From them long nights of slumber and what have you. So go on Amazon and please, with love and hair grease, supply and patronize Queen of Four's Breath of Life. It's worth it. It's really worth it. It's dope. It'll help you out a lot, especially if you're on a workout kick and you're just about to go on a run or anything like that. You put 2 drops out on your tongue. You on fire. You going.
Hussein Bolt.
Yeah, you going. You going, you doing one of them, like Hussein Bolt. Yes, sir. How you brothers doing, man? What's going on with y'all? Let the people know what's going on. Is anything cracking in the communities where you guys are at, and your endeavors that you might want to talk about real quick while I pull up this next piece, and then you guys got the floor. Whoever wants to take it.
Well, shoot. How's everybody doing? Doing well, doing great. Learning more about opening of self as far as holistically, spiritually. Getting back to that. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news, but I don't pay too much mind to it. It's a lot of how should I say it? Tricks going on. A lot of tricks. Community wise, it's like the close of the season, so it's basically small outreach. The kids that you can't speak to, you do speak to, and just try to keep a close knit unit. You know what I'm saying? Keep people out of trouble and stay out of trouble yourself. So it's been pretty good. Pretty good. Oh yeah, I do want to say rest in peace to DJ Polo. And
right. Oh man, tell me about it, bro.
You gotta say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Fox one in particular, because this young lady, as hard as she was still was a sweet-hearted person to the people that she respected and connected communities. So that was a sudden one for those that know and those that don't know. And then DJ Polo is just a fixture in hip hop from the legendary Coogee Rap and Polo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A DJ extraordinaire, and he linked a lot of people too. That's another thing. One of those behind the scenes guys, will be duly missed. So salute to those soldiers of the hip hop field.
Yeah, man. Salute to DJ Polo, legendary DJ for Coogee Rap and Polo and the Juice Crew.
Yes.
And he put it down for a lot of artists. He became their stage DJ when, let's say, if they're touring and somebody's DJ goes down, I think DJ Mr. C had a bout with some illness, and he stepped in for Kane when Kane was touring, and and if you like that old Coogee Rap and Polo sound, that's the brother that architected a lot of those Queensbridge artists to do what they do, and be as widely recognized as they are. One of the definitely godfathers of DJing within the city of New York. R.I.P. DJ Polo. Damn, I ain't even see that one coming, bro. And also Chino XL, man. Chino XL also.
Yeah. I didn't want to, leave him out, but also this is a, East Coast show, so I wanted to keep it East Coast.
Yeah, man.
But Chino XL, I did a show, and brought up two of his freestyles. And the guy was phenomenal as far
absolutely
as Ross Cost level, as far as you want to say Brother J, Immortal Technique, Eminem level, so the wordplay, the conviction, the passion behind the lyrics, and the content of the lyrics.
Yeah. Definitely. I could definitely appreciate him because sometimes you get into a place where you just want to as an artist, and there's very few artists that can tell a good story. Very few hip hop artists that can tell a really good story. Nas is one of them. Of course, everybody knows Nas and his infamous album, but there are others that are lesser known that are excellent at it. Chino XL was one of those beasts, though. He's one of those battle beasts. Like I wanna beat you over the head with the lyrics. You know what I mean? With the lyrics, you know what I mean? If he was a jazz musician, he'd be the dude that you'd have to pull off stage because his solo is too long.
Right. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, come on, man. You supposed to put 5 minutes. What you doing?
Going on.
Yeah, you ruining the whole set. What you doing, dude? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but Chino was dope though. Chino had bars for days. For sure. All right, y'all, check this out real quick. We did it earlier in the show. Update. What are we updating? Well, we're updating this. Last show, Brother Mozzie sent us a story about this toy from Little Tykes, and it's called My First Ankle Monitor, and they made it like a game. And this is what This is right. This is the evolution of children's toys. With a twist because it never should have been. This never should have been something that kids are encouraged to play with. This is a real toy being sold in Walmart, by the way.
Who signed off on this, man? Oh.
This is from Little Tykes, and I can remember with my kid, I never messed with Little Tykes too tough because I always thought their stuff was cheap and plastic. But if you go in the KBs and the Toys R Us's of the world, you would see Little Tykes all over the place. They would have like the big wheels and the little Holly Hobby ovens that the girls would play with.
Yeah.
Well, now they are advertising my first ankle monitor. Now, the reason why I brought this back up, Brother Mozzie, was because of this right here. It's called Main Core. Is anybody familiar with Main Core at all?
It sounds familiar.
Main Core, Poindexter, who was in the Reagan administration. It's the first time back when DARPA was just getting started and all of those the surveillance society was getting started. Poindexter brought up this thing called Main Core. And Main Core is like this database that they kept in federal government of people who would be, let's say, a political nuisance if, in fact, America had to round up counter insurgents that were domestic. You know what I mean? Like if they thought you were a problem because you were domestic and you disagree with what the government was doing or the government's foreign policy or whatever policy it is, they made a list of hundreds of thousands of people that within a call, they could put the sentinels out there like the X-Men and they come round your ass up. If anybody knows X-Men, if you ain't see X-Men 97 or, you know, the old school X-Men's in the comic books, I recommend that better. So we showed school to prison pipeline. We know that's always been into effect. It's always kind of been more of like a urban legend, not something that people really had a whole lot of proof about. But Main Core is something that people definitely have proof about because it's been around forever. Main Core, a CIA database of 8 million who will be rounded up when martial law is installed or imposed, dating back from the Reagan administration to part of a broader continuity of government in the COG program. I'll say ESG program. That's kind of the type of time they on right now. So just be vigilant about what you guys are letting your kids play with, what you guys consider toys. We love to like put a iPad or a phone with the what do you call that, Minecraft on it, and just let your kid dull out for hours. Don't do that. Pay attention to what your kids are looking at. I don't care if it's digital. I don't care if it beeps. I don't care if it makes a noise that occupies them. Make sure you know what your kids are talking about. Fellas, what do y'all think about Main Core, man?
Hey, it's America's at its best, man. This stuff has been talked about when we used to, you listen to a lot of these, these right wingers, man, from back in the day, these patriots. They always talked about making sure you know how to get off the grid because when time comes, this type of thing is going to take place, and we better be ready.
Yeah,
I concur. Now, COG I've heard of before, but Main Core itself, I wasn't privy to. It looks like another form of, the spread of white supremacy, social engineering, COINTELPRO, whatever, those type of things.
Yeah, it is. And what it is the recent mock-up of a Main Core would be something called Palantir. You guys familiar with that?
No.
It's part of the this thing keeps popping up. Sorry about that. It's part of the super cybersecurity era that we're in now. And Palantir is being used by a lot of the CBDC folk for the implementation of that global ID that they want everybody on.
See, I resonate with what Pac was saying in his Machiavelli stage, right? Like they're gonna call everything a different name. You know what I'm saying? The same way you shoot up a club and you change the name. It's all the same thing to try to preserve some type of power. And it's also a fear-mongering tactic to make you think that they're organized, which they are, but that we can't be as organized. So you're always on a defensive level. You're always on a subservient level. Man, I be like, kind of at the end of the day, F that, man. Take care of the simple things, and the simple things take care of us. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. F that. For real. Like
what's that old saying, man? Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
Facts. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
We know this stuff is forever changing. It goes through its metamorphosis. And we just got to know and be prepared. We just got to know what the signs are. So when we see certain things, I don't care what they call it peanut butter and jelly. We know what it is. But, a lot of us, we just, right now it's about whether or not you got the likes on your Instagram or not. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And we get disarmed by the boogeyman.
Right. Let me read this real quick. Palantir Technology is changing how institutions solve data challenges. Analytical platforms are deployed throughout intelligence, defense, law enforcement, regulatory, cybersecurity communities, the commercial sector, and philanthropic organizations. Its engineering teams combine expertise in distributed systems, infrastructure, big data, processing, analytics, design, data science, and info security. Headquartered in Colorado, New York, DC, LA, Paris, Tel Aviv, Ottawa, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Wellington, which is I guess a suburb of Europe or UK. So just want to let y'all know what we're working with. You know what I mean? This is awareness so we don't have to be fearless out here. And this is actually a predictor model, and they used it about 2 or 3 times. Remember when they put out those fake Costa Rica Bitcoin estimates, and it sunk Costa Rica's economy because 80% of it was on Bitcoin? They used Palantir as a predictor engine, and then everybody pulled out of Bitcoin. And they did the same thing to Venezuela, and then they did the same thing to what was it? Was it Costa Rica, Venezuela? What's the other place that's with the oil, bro? Is it Venezuela?
Yeah, Venezuela right now has the world's largest oil deposits.
So Venezuela, and it's a couple other areas, simply because they wanted to get off the dollar and they wanted to get on to Bitcoin to privatize their economy. What do you guys think?
Well, Palantir is ranked number 1. It's the number 1 vendor in AI, data science, and machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's also number 1 ranked intelligence software.
Yep.
For studying market share and revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that's going on with it. And it helps you, as they say, make decisions or take advantage of decisions across your organization. And it has full stack interoperability.
Yeah, and a lot of those, all those WEF folks, talking, they talking it up big time.
Oh yeah,
they talking it up big time. They're like, that's their whole, like that's their baby, like that's their, well, it's a predictor model for Fortune 2000 companies across the world. So, yeah. But let's move on, man. Let's move in. Nah, because we not babies here, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? See ball, get ball. Knowledge, wisdom, is understanding. So I mean, you know what I mean? We ain't got to spend a whole lot of time, holding hands and patty caking. You know what I mean? We throw the information out there, and we got to move on because it's a lot to get to.
The turn
Because I
was
want to,
quick.
because I want to get to some stuff that we haven't really dealt with on the show a lot. And but first, let's get to this Lit City report, because I definitely got to get you brothers information or get you guys' opinion on this. Here we go. Lit City report: the wacky, the wild, the wonderful things that keep our world going round. I used to have music for it. They used to be the Bruno Mars joint, but they smacking me in the head every time I play that. So even if I have permission, even if I buy the credit, they still want to mute your joint. You know what I mean? Anyway, so this comes to us from a brother who is homeschooling his daughter, and is making major headlines because he's teaching his daughter target shooting. That's part of her new homeschool program. So as soon as it comes up, we can get to it and talk about it. I'll enlarge it just a bit so everybody can see it. Come on. Behave yourself. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see it now. The video, the homeschool children is being taught to fire guns. Father of the four invents his own curriculum covering cryptocurrency, Black Panthers, which is basically Black history, and how to handle a gun or an Uzi. Y'all want to see the video first, or y'all want to jump right into this and chop it up and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly as can be?
I'm familiar with this guy, and I've seen the videos a number of times where his daughter pretty much can take her Glock apart, blindfolded, put it back together, as well as her AR. I mean, all that's great. It really is. Here's one of the things, if I would say there was anything, had a lot of members in my family were homeschooled, and socially, they ain't really integrating all that well. Mm-hmm. So it's great to have folks who can do all this, and we homeschool them. For me, being close to this, and what scares me is because these various family members, they just are missing something socially, man. And last thing I need is them running around and be able to pick up a couple pieces of sticks, man, and make a pop gun real quick. And they can't control their emotions and other things. And it seems like they can because dad is grilling them. He's grilling them. But all that's great until I'm a proponent for homeschooling, but we have to make this sure, and being an educator, there's a huge social component that get missed with a lot of kids who are homeschooled. And so we just hope that as long as you got that piece going, man, and they're well adjusted, that's cool. But just like we know across the board with a lot of people who are homeschooled, that one piece is missing, and that's the socialization, because their parents want to keep them away from everybody. Mm-hmm. So they don't know how to interact, and they're almost mechanical, and some of them are very emotional in certain situations. So they either shut down or, they pop into, that whatever they've been taught and learned, it just kicks in and they do it. And it may not be the time in which they should be doing it. They should know how to de-escalate. But I think it's dope what he's doing, though, because I taught mine at an early age. They weren't breaking them down and pulling them apart and all that stuff blindfolded, but they know their way around, and they've been shooting them ever since they were babies. About this
let me play a little bit of the video, and then we're going to get Mecca's opinion on it when we come back on the other side. Here we go. Let me know if y'all can hear this when it loads up. Of course, they're going to give us commercials and all of the hoopla before it. Come on. Well, Mecca, give us your opinion on this just from the outlook before it loads up and does everything like that. What do you think of this situation so far?
I've seen it as well when it first came out.
Okay.
And the brother's proficient. He's very, fluent. His know-how is great. And he's able to teach the child very effortlessly. But I would think there's some things you don't put on camera.
That too.
Yeah, that's how I'll leave it there.
I'm glad you brothers are on giving these dope points, because the social adjustment is very important, and the fact that you want privacy. And honestly, I don't know why in this day and age everybody wants to be such a like overt. Everybody wants to be out there. Everybody wants to, be front and center. Everybody wants to be the center of attention. People are making videos about how they do it. They don't fart. So I think what you said resonates really well.
Well, other thing too, you got to remember one of the reasons why these guys do it is it's a source of income. Because if you get, he's been in the game for a long time. So, early on when you were on YouTube and Instagram, you were making a lot of money. So now you can stay home, do videos, homeschool your child, those sort of things. Now it's gotten a little bit more. I've seen all these videos. He's been, like I say, he's been around for a while. But here's the thing. Now that a lot of that income is drying up, and because Instagram, ain't paying anybody anymore. YouTube, you got to hit some very high targets now to make money. So now, did they do some good things with the money they had, or what? Teach us some more. And then a lot of it too is, and here's something that I find very interesting, and it's always been an issue for me. Why is it that if we're into whatever we're into, some of this stuff that most people will say is kind of far left, far right, or just, off the beaten path, why do we also got to look like we're off the beaten path? You know what I mean? I ain't saying everybody got to run around like James Bond with the fancy suit on, but sometimes why can't we look mainstream but not be mainstream? Why is it that? And that's the part that I've been kind of, ever since I got the confidence, I started learning a lot of this stuff. I was always like, bruh, I understand, power to the people and all, but why you gotta look like that? Right. You know what I mean? And I understand how everybody, this whole, but some of them just use excuses to, come on, you don't need to be having tattoos all over your face. Because now when you walk around and you integrate into the world, people are going to be looking at you like, oh, shit. Oh, yo, keep an eye on this dude. Yeah, you know how to do all your stuff, or you get pulled over, you know all the right things to say, but you're increasing your likelihood of it to happen. And I'm not saying if that's your style, that's your style. But if, it's just one of those things that you ever notice, everybody, that's conscious and all that other stuff, they all look the same.
It defeats the tactics of a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm not.
Yeah. No. We got you.
I'm actually veggie back on what you're saying, because the true nature of an operative or an agent is to blend in and not to be detected. So if you have obvious signs and symbols on you that can locate what your operation is, you basically failed. And, that's already, actually you're giving everything up. your whole mission.
Yeah, we just talked about Palantir, right? And I'm sure Palantir got some facial recognition software out there.
Absolutely.
And if you got all this, if you got
Hong Kong.
Remember? Yeah, I remember when we were having a protest, and they done rounded up. They done produced 700 warrants in one area at one time off of facial recognition software that was illegal, and you would have been real easy to find.
Yep.
Ain't too many brothers running around with a wide jet in the middle of their forehead. That's him. That's him with the Kodak black hair. That's him. You get the Karens. The Karens get the pointing.
And then when you want to be able to, change garb, change
Right.
identities on the fly. These
Yeah.
things matter. These things count.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Deception and
Yeah,
war.
so like I said, I'm not trying to diss or I don't want it to come across the wrong way, but
No,
I know every
let
brother
it
that
fly.
I mean, everyone that I know that are you can sort of say on the fringes. We can always identify him like, yeah, no, it's kind of cool too because if something go down, I know where to go. I'm with you, bro.
Right. Be at your spot and a half,
Yeah,
But
so
the reason why I brought the story up and I thought the story was dope to kind of revisit was parents patriae. We were talking about parents patriae last time on the show, and how schools assume custodial parentage of your children while they're there. And they got it now to the point where, if they wanted to change genders while they were in school, they could do so. They will have the children under their custody. They can decide all matters of health and legal entities in the name of your children while they're there. So I applaud anybody who's willing to homeschool their kids on, and they didn't just say about shooting guns. They talked about Black history. They talked about different things that they need to be equipped on that you have to often overteach your children if you are melanated and conscious when they come home. You have to often overteach it because they're so inundated with what the schools are presenting them as factual, actual, and factual. So I just thought that was always a dope thing to show. We need more homeschool. We need like homeschool leagues. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And give those things credentialing and curriculums so that when, like what Brother Mozzie said, how are they being well adjusted? If they're home 6 hours of the day, are they getting 3 hours of socialization so they're not these nerd turds running around getting used and abused because they're not socially adjusted and becoming the next Dylan Keebles running around with Uzis and, Dylan Roofs, you know what I mean? And what's the guy's name that was in Kyle Rittenhouse? You're not going to turn into one of them type of dudes, Columbine shooters, because you're not socially well adjusted enough. And then, of course, that I think this whole thing speaks to a bigger paradigm. Are we ready to help teach our kids real things that are going to help them survive?
That part.
And
that old Billy D. Williams movie. Are we ready for the final come down?
Yeah. Like, I remember I homeschooled my kids for a couple years. I was working at night, homeschooling during the day, and I would teach them stuff like 5 ways to get water if you're not near a river. You know what I mean? 3 ways to make a fire. All type of stuff. The type of canned goods you should have if you reached a certain joint. You know what I mean? If you reach a certain juncture where you had to be off the grid or go into a certain situation or whatever. Survival skills. How to gut a fish. All those type of things.
Last summer, I was trying to prove a point to my daughter because now there's a girl who I think my daughter was probably about 13. I sent her to a survivalist camp. She was out in the wilderness, learning how to survive for 2 weeks. But when you integrate back into regular population, she she's still a girly girl. She does her sports, whatever, but she still like to have her girly girl thing. But as time went on, she said to me, and I don't know if maybe it was because of when she was in college or whatever, but she's like, "Dad, I don't eat leftovers." I'm like, "You don't eat leftovers?" Like, what the hell? Where all this is coming from?
Right.
So I was like, okay. So I went downstairs and I still have some of my Y2K canned goods. You keep them in a nice area that's dry and got a lot of moisture. As you know how it works. And people are like, oh, no, you can't eat that stuff. It's bad. Why you still got them cans in here? I said, do you know what makes them go bad? And we don't even understand that. That the basic, if it don't have no air, get into it, it'll never go bad.
Right.
Nothing can survive without air. That's how important oxygen is to everything on this planet.
Right.
And I remember going down there, man, and open up a can of sweet peas and cook them. You know, the way I normally make them, you know, a little some black pepper, you know, a little fine oil, mix it with some rice and onions. My daughter was like, Dad, I like when you make these.
Yeah.
I said, you know, these
Right.
are from these are the Y2K, right?
Y2K.
Y2K. I was like, oh yeah, you was a baby. You don't know about no Y2K. Yeah, I thought it was a party. So I was like, it was one of the cans from downstairs. She's like, no, for real, Dad. I'm like, stop. As I tried the lessons I tried to explain to you, the reason why we have canned goods and dry goods because they never go bad, sweetie. You know, everybody want to go. How many people, you know, no, I got to get me one of them Chester freezers or freezer chest or whatever they call them. You know, they want to get the big freezers and freeze food. I'm like, nah, man. Because when that stuff goes bad, when we ain't got no electricity, you got to decide the generator you got. Are you going to keep that freezer going so you can have your meat, or you going to have the canned goods and those dried, you know, beans and rice and things of that nature that you know will last you forever. So, you know, but teaching these kind of little skills, and, you know, I did the same thing with my kids. You know, we talked about agriculture, for example, and growing your own food. So every summer, when they were home for the summer, these are the things that they did. You know, so one summer it was based on agriculture. We grew all kinds of food in the backyard, you know, and then we also had to learn how to keep out all the little critters that came to eat in the garden. So, you know, they were great lessons to teach them. And these things, so what the guy's doing, I think, is wonderful. And I'm not trying to poo-poo it. It's just the homeschooling piece, especially when they get to those certain years of their life, they got to have the socialization so that they can, you know, won't be people who can, they develop their EQ, so to speak.
Right.
That's all. But all this stuff is great, man. I think it really is. I think every kid needs to. My son was driving at 12 years old. I used to let him get up in the morning, and as we go into school, I was like, go ahead, man. You know, because by that time, him and his sister were in different schools, so I didn't have to hear his mom. What the hell? You got this boy driving the car? Because she would take my daughter to school, and you know, and I would take him to school, and I was like, go ahead, man. So 12 years old, he pulling up to the school, and all the little boys like, oh my God, you drive. We just get out. You know how I go. He switched the, you know, I walk around to the other side. He goes, grab his stuff, go in. That was important though, because what I try to explain to folks is, what if something happens to one of us in the house? They can jump in their bike and drive away, ride away, or they can jump in the car, grab the keys and go. But they have options. What if we out camping or we just hanging out fishing and, you know, a boulder not come and knock me out or something? He would stand a better chance of throwing me in the car and get me to the nearest hospital than waiting in the middle of nowhere for an ambulance to show up. So, you know, we just got to teach them how to mitigate and how to respond to, you know, various disasters that may take place.
Yeah.
So all that stuff is very important.
Not only that, but we have to add on though, brother, is you know, there's a like we talked about the ethno state on Monday.
Right.
We talked about all of those. Well, I'll put some of those back up for everybody who wasn't able to catch Monday's show. We talked about something called the base. And the base is an anti-Semitic white nationalist network that trains members in survivalism, paramilitary skills to prepare them to mount an armed resistance against, they say government, I'm saying whomever and whatever. And a lot of them are, you know, kind of like, you know, KKK, neo-Nazi, you know, white nationalist type of joints. And what was interesting is the more research I did on this, the more I started coming across mad states wanting to be all white ethno states. Now, we heard about Tennessee. We heard about how they're petitioning to have their own township and their own government, and the Supreme Court of Tennessee didn't have a problem with it. But Idaho wants to be an ethno state. Louisiana wants to be an ethno state. Certain parts of New England and Maine want to be ethno states. You know, so there's a lot going on throughout the country. And of course, we know that there's Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, all ethno states already. They want to turn the clock back. So the homeschooling piece is important because, and of course, that's where a lot of the national textbooks come from, Texas. McGraw-Hill, Mifflin, all those different textbook manufacturers come right out of the, you know, the Texas area. So just make sure you are homeschooling your kids, or at least educating your kids on things that you treasure and that you value that are going to be important to you, and not just what's important to the, you know, the Prussian school model that America provides. Brother Mega, you got anything for this before we move on?
No, everything was spot on just now. You know, also the awareness on how to deal with problems when they arise. Be someone that can understand the situation, assess it very quickly, and move to it. And also conflict resolution. Sometimes you don't have to wait for something to get bigger than what it is. Attack it as soon as it like sparks up. You know, try to know what the triggers are and try to be aware with that. And you know, make sure you have self-care so you're centered enough to do that. There's a lot of people that have the skills to do it, but when it comes time for the action to happen, there's that freeze, flight, or fight comes in. So if you don't know what to do in that instant, you know, you can mess up a situation, you can not be effective in a situation, or you can, you know, take an L in that situation. So
yeah,
you gotta be cognizant of that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to show you guys something real quick while we're still in the middle of a Lit City report, because Brother Mozzie sent me a clip by Brother Malcolm. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Let me go back here. Let me just share my screen real quick, and I'll put the clip up. And it should lead a little bit. I think it's a good lead in to what we're going to talk about next on the show. Hope you guys can see that. Whenever it pops up, I'll get it started. All right, great. So this is Brother Malcolm talking about, he's giving us a little glimpse into how leaders are chosen within the landscape of the macro American machine. Let's check it out, Real HD Show.
A while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities, and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. Usually Negroes know that when this bourgeois Negro walks through the door, he is not doing something that he's initiated himself, but he's involved in something in which the white man is the absolute author of, and has sent him to the Negro community for some information. And when they give that Negro some information, usually they give him.
You know when I figured this out, man? I figured this out when I was in high school, and I was playing sick one of them days where you're playing sick. And Hakeem Adabooty was on Donahue.
Oh, damn.
And that was back in the day.
Right.
I remember it was Hakeem Adabooty, Bill Cosby. I want to say Dr. J. But I was sitting there, and then they had these other white guys on there, and they was Professor Emeritus from, Michigan University and University of Michigan, and so-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, from the such and such think tank of America. And I'm sitting there like, what's wrong with this picture? And then I remember freshman year of college, Black Solidarity Day.
Wow, you took it back.
Yeah, you remember
they
those,
don't
right?
even do that no more, man. November 1st. Yo, that was a whole wave,
November
you know?
1st. No, as a freshman, you coming in, you still, and I was at a PWI, so it was like Black Solidarity Day. Shoot, I gotta make sure I'm there. So all the brothers. Now I got to meet all of the brothers and sisters on campus, because when you go to a large PWI, they spread us out to the point where we think it's only about 5 of us on campus. And it was Hakeem Adabouti again. It's like, oh my goodness. I had to ask my question. I asked my question about him being on that show, and he pointed out to me. He said, "You notice," and that's that fact of, you see who they brought to discuss the issues, and they see who they brought on our end to discuss the issues, which was entertainers. And now we know Bill Cosby and the things he's affiliated with, the things that Dr. J was affiliated with. Who else was? Whoever. But basically, these were, people who really don't know the issues, but we want to bring them in there, and And of course they brought him, and Haki is not a good. I don't know if you guys ever met him. Met him on numerous occasions. So Dr. Gordon was one of the professors at the university I went to. She was connected in with Third World Press and with him. So he was always, I got to meet him on numerous occasions. He's not a guy who you can. He doesn't think fast on his feet. He's one of those guys. You can bait him into a debate, and you can chew him up. But you let him sit there and he's writing. You'll see him, he's always writing and sketching. You ever notice that about him? And so it gives him time to think it over while he's doing it. And then he can come back at you hard. But
process. Yeah.
Methodical.
Yeah. So, so he wasn't really a great, he didn't look like the hockey that we all knew, the author, the brilliant brother that he is. He didn't really look like that on that stage, because he was sitting there with his notes and he had his book open, but the way the show was chopped up and then things are thrown at him, all of a sudden he wasn't ready to respond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but of course they're gonna paint a portrait in for whatever ends they want to create out of it.
Exactly.
The reason why I brought up the clip was this here, because I don't think we did this justice. I know we talked about it. I know the sisters resonated with the way that they wanted to resonate with it, but I wanted to bring this up again. Because and we don't have to spend a tremendous amount of time on it because we already know. Right. So in lieu of what Brother Malcolm was just talking about, this is probably one of the bigger, I guess, gatherings for the citizenry of whatever politics, and this was done for our folks. This is what white people don't care for Meg Thee Stallion. They don't even know who she is. They home looking at what's the little piggly white girl that has the talk show.
They be looking at Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, you're right.
What's the little white boy?
What's the little piggly girl that got the talk show? That was on America. That was on that won the American singing competition. Kelly Clarkson. They checking them out. They looking at daytime TV. That's who they respond to. And then of course, anybody can forget. No one can forget Tiara Mack, the senator out of Rhode Island.
Hell yeah.
Last year when she decided to twerk for votes on her head, literally.
That's an L.
Yeah, so we just gotta always be prepared for the imagery and for the rat wheel that they're gonna put us on, Because this ain't the first time they did that. You know, if you go back into further and further, you know, they had Bill Clinton with the saxophone and the weed and are we putting the puzzle pieces in the right places here?
Stages and cameras and lights, man. You don't control the media controls you.
Yeah.
You know, you can try to put that, you know, put a power, you know, black power forward and, you know, some outstanding individuals to step up for you and see how that works. See how people get shadow banned and all that.
Yeah, but didn't they say also in the security memorandum, was it 285 or something like that, that basically the focus for us is always going to be on entertainment?
Yes, indeed.
It's just that simple.
Yeah,
that's why we want. That way, we're busy worrying about it. We're busy being entertained and being entertainers that we don't think beyond anything other than that. So we'll never have the rise of a new Messiah, or, you know, all that different stuff.
Right.
So,
exactly.
You know, and this just seems like it's falling right, you know, falling right in line.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, what does it say about black women?
And let me we gonna get back right on that, bro, because that was one of my questions. Here's a question I want to ask first, though. What does it mean for a people, for an American discourse, if you don't know this woman's policies, you don't know how she's going to change economy, you don't know how she's going to support infrastructure, undergird growth and development within the country, but you know her sexual politics? Brother Mega, tell us what that. Brother Mega, talk to us about that.
One of the 9 areas of human activity that Neely Fuller talked about.
Talk to us, man.
But here's the thing, right? And this is why
she wants command of the free world, quote unquote.
First of all, we have
you don't know nothing about her policies.
Checks and balances in the system, point blank. We do know her opposing candidate chooses to erase that. Is that clear or not? That's what I need to know now. Do we know that the opposing party, you know, chooses to do that? So this is the last vote that you're.
You mean to deny women the right to their?
No, not women. Anybody that opposes the administration. Anyone?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Okay, so
for sure.
Now that we got that stuff, we've already been in a standing oligarchy for the most part.
Yeah.
Semi-socialism.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay. Now we're facing the threat of democracy between authoritarianism or dictatorship and thoughtocracy, I like to say. I kind of choose the thoughtocracy, to tell you the truth, because it's still the checks and balances of the rest of the government. I don't think Tim Walz is going to let her go crazy, you know, buck wild, knuck if you buck in front of the Oval Office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I surely know that Vance is going to be lockstep with Trump or whatever he says. Like, forget the votes in Georgia, or, you know, what they was about to hang and lynch poor Mike Pence for.
Whoa. Did they turn on him like a mug, man?
So, you know,
he was super
what you really dealing with.
And we were more concerned about him getting in office than we was anybody.
Right. Hey, man, checks and balances, man. That's what I'm for. Checks and balances.
You know, the sad thing about it, though, man, is that once again, it just goes to show we're not taken serious as a people.
Say that one more time. You were a little low.
I said that they just don't take us serious as a people.
Okay.
Because here we are at most people would consider a very pivotal point in American history. And the best that we can do is bring out some twerking folks. Now, don't get me wrong. We all like to look at it. But here's the other part about that it says that, I hate that. I'm going to use these terms. They're going to be very inflammatory and very colorful. So I want
just go ahead, bro.
Man,
Bring it.
that black women ain't nothing but whores of the planet, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then not only that, it's we don't even like who we are. She out there with weave, nails, lashes out to here. You know, all the things that we know that
one of the verses she was saying was like,
conspicuous consumer, man.
It was total. I don't care what nobody say about what I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I do.
But black women got that already got that imagery, man. Can't tell black women nothing.
Right.
I'm a strong black woman.
Yeah.
You know, but no one ever asked the question of why is it that all women that are strong black women are always single. But that's for another show, another day, when we have the battle of the sexes and all that good stuff. But I'm just saying, man, it just shows us, man,
tool
that we are just
to generate leads. How many people think it's proactive and aggressive outbound?
We just got issues, man. We just are not in tune to anything worthwhile. Because here's what a lot of black people don't understand. There's a lot of us doing very well. There's a lot of us that are not. But most of us who have built our fortune on things that when the shit hit the fan, I don't need that no more. Even as a woman, if I was a woman buying weave, doing lashes, doing nails, shit get too tough in America. Ain't nobody getting no damn nails and their hair done. So now those who made their money on that and walking around here like they're Big Willie and Big Wilhelmina, they're gonna be just as poor as the next man.
Two things with that. One, there's an economy in it.
Exactly.
Right? So they got that enclosed economy that empowers each other. And with that, it's like a uniform. You know what I'm saying? They wear it to identify each other. And it's crazy. Like, you're getting, what's that? The alopecia joint?
Yeah.
Like, that's coming. You know what I'm saying? Those eyelashes are too much for for your face. But it's part of the costume. And it becomes an interesting dynamic. They always say this is what men want. And the men say, we don't want that.
And then they say, yes, you do. And you say, no, I don't.
Then you
say, yes, you do. Like, here we go.
Yep.
You're telling me what I like.
Speaking of someone who is of a political nature, but who wants to tell you what she likes, that's the reason I brought all of this up. I wanted to segue into the world of divesting.
Oh, shoot.
And, I usually want to save this for my, Black relationship show, because there's a lot of layers to this stuff that needs to be unpeeled. You know what I mean? But this particular woman decided to use her divesting from being with a black man as a political tool. Different. So I'm gonna play a clip. I'm gonna share my screen and pop a clip on real quick, and I want to get you guys' take on this, and I want to get you guys example of how many sisters you guys out there think share the same value system as this sister here. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. This comes from his channel, Fair Use. Funny dude, good content. Go support him.
Dusty Network, the dustiest of all dusties.
Yeah, the dusty of the dusties. Dusty King himself. But he makes a really good expose of this that I wanted to get the family's opinion on, and I was hoping a couple, 3 or 4 sisters would be on tonight. Miss B and Jazz and Sister Aurora, so we could really get to some building and development on this area, because some things about this I just don't get as far as the way that the sisters see it. Let's check it out right now. And this sister in particular, you guys might have seen her before. She prefers to make her living doing blue movies. That's the old school corn. You know what I mean?
GG on the bottom.
Yeah, she's an old school corn. She's a corn artist, right? Not old school, but she's a corn artist. But one of the things that she chooses to do is make a mockery of black men and women in their relationships, and she chooses to promote the MAGA piece. So I just want you guys to hear this real quick, and then I'll get you guys' opinion on this when on the other side. Here we go.
Now, Sharika Soul
Fair use
wants to hold Black people accountable, like Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago. I want you to listen to her holding Black folks accountable.
Over the July 4th weekend, over 100 people were shot, and 19 of those incidences were fatal in Chicago, Illinois. On Monday, the press asked the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, what he planned to do, and just like a good Democrat, he blamed a white man that's no longer living, aka Richard Nixon, who died in 1994. Brandon Johnson went on to say that Black death has been acceptable in this country for far too long, and I just have something to say.
All right, so she's of a conservative leaning, so she's gonna go on her tirade about about this and about a little bit of that. But I want to get to the whole political piece of it all. So here it is.
Trump and MAGA.
Come on.
The world's first titanium nonstick pan.
Got to throw that in the middle of the thing, right? Got to frack it out. All right, here we go.
That time over the years, I've sometimes wondered if I made the right decision because of the backlash and nonstop trolling that I receive online. However, after watching Donald Trump stand up in front of millions of people with a visible wound on his face and tell America to keep fighting for what is right, I knew that I had made the right decision and I've been on the right side of history this whole time. It's obvious to me that Democrats do not care about Black people, they do not care about the poor, and they do not care about innocent human life, which is something that Donald Trump does care about and he's always championed. I am more awakened now than I have ever been before, even so more than in 2017. And I will continue to support Donald Trump. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, God bless you.
Now, this sounds very similar to Amber Rose. She was right to leave Democrats, but then she's been doing some of these pictures here, maintaining class without being wealthy. You know, if you see this post here, marked July 10th, 2024. Okay, and then here's what we're seeing, an AI image. This is Donald Trump, an AI version of him, amongst these beautiful Black women who are AI version of Black women. Okay. And that similarly look like Beyonce. All right. So this is a phony generated post. Okay. In all of this. Let's read it. They are afraid of Black women supporting Trump because when we do, we drop the Hood Rag Act and the left hates classy women.
So I'm gonna enlarge that and let's dig into that just a bit.
It's a loss.
No, that's apropos because they say that, is it really that easy, y'all? Is it really, Black women are sophisticated, socially conscious if they're supporting Trump? We dropped the Hood Rag. We dropped the Hood Rag Act. And now we can be civilized. Now we can be, fit, feminine, and friendly, like Kevin Samuels used to say. But only if it's being supported by an AI-generated image of Donald Trump with 6 of the finest sisters that he could find. What do y'all think, man? Talk to us. Do bedfellows and politics make great alignment, or what do y'all think, man? How is this? Do we have a problem, Houston? Are there a lot of sisters buying into this narrative and moving accordingly? What do y'all think? Is she a one-off, or is this a rising thing amongst the Z's and the millennials and so on?
I think with her, it just may be. She knows she chose a jacked up life. And now that it's over, she realizes in the Black community, the reality is if she's ever going to find herself a decent quality man, even a low value man, he finds out what her past was. He ain't going to deal with it. Because many brothers just can't get over that. There are many of those in the MAGA community that will accept her.
Allegedly.
Well,
So-
there'll be one that'll still take her in because he's a good Christian, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's just happy to have him and a good-looking woman because she's a very attractive sister.
She is.
And he's just happy to say he got that. So that's about it, man. But it right now, all the sisters, all the melanated sisters, are on the Kamala bandwagon. They don't know why, they don't know what, they don't know when, but it's all about Kamala. And I keep telling these folks, white women will vote against their interest. And now we really have to start asking questions of the things that we know. And I asked that question before. Is voting for Kamala and the Democratic Party the best thing for us as the future goes along? Or, delusional Donald?
Right.
Which is the ones that we can probably see ourselves clear of things taking place and things happening?
Who do you trust with the nuclear codes?
Neither one of them. I think I would go with I would go with Donald, and let me explain to you why, because he's been there already. He knows and understands. Donald talk a lot of smack. Donald ain't about nothing. He's just a typical a blowhard from downstate. And if there ain't no money in it, it ain't happening for him. But Kamala, her past, man, this is a woman who did anything to get to the top.
So I have a deeper question for the two of you, esteemed brothers. Does America have a woman intelligentsia issue when it comes to voting?
What do you mean?
Because you heard how decentralized she was from the Black community, and you just mentioned yourself, Brother Mozzie, that a lot of sisters are on the Kamala bandwagon, and we've shown inexplicably on this show how either party really has our best interests at heart.
Nope.
So do we have a problem just in general with sisters trying to recognize what's best for the community, doing what's best for the community when it's time in situations like this? And, does there need to be a community hall meeting to talk about this? I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with somebody named the Smart Guy. Are you familiar with him, Brother Mega?
Yeah.
And he has some really interesting comments on this show called 8 at the Table. And he talked about how a lot of sisters are participating in white supremacy with a lot of the ways that they act, a lot of the ways that they purport themselves, things that they believe in, and the things that they value and how they go about executing their lifestyles. And then, of course, their politics kind of boil down to this as well. And you saw with this sister who happens to be for Donald Trump, after she had her, her corn, run, after her corn run was over, now like Stacey Dash and Omarosa and now Amber Rose, now she's on the Republican train. Is there an issue with intelligence as far as the voting capacity goes? Or is it or is it just a lack of intelligence in general?
I think it's a lack of intelligence in general.
Okay.
And that what happens with us as a people, most of our learned women, sisters, have taken 9 times out of 10 while they were in college or graduate school, took a woman's study course.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely they were all sisters of the yams. And we know
what's the yams?
And we know Bell Hooks took her writing, her research from basically, white racists, who practiced anti-Black misandry.
Oh, I'm gonna go there because we about to do a whole feminism series. They took them from Satanists.
Exactly. And straight up
Satanists, straight up
Satanists and racist.
Yep.
who advocating killing black men in particular.
Yep. Yep.
And so knowing that, a lot of these women, even when they got the book, a lot of them didn't even read the book. You know, some of Bell Hooks. They know the popular the catchphrases and the little things that they do, but they don't take the time to really study this stuff, man. And if they do, they study it from a perspective of women who are very who studied and quoted and based their theories on anti-black writings and documentation. And then the other piece is, they just didn't do no research on anything.
So how do we, brother Mega, how do we go from women voting George Bush Jr. in for the second time to them voting to women totally flipping and popularizing the Barack Obama vote twice? Then that same core of women totally flipped and put Biden in the White House, Trump rather, then Biden, and now it's look like it's going to be Trump again. So what does that say about the female delegation, as it were, within the country, if they flip-flop so much within the popular vote as to who they're actually voting for? And then, of course, you hear clips like this, and when he pumped his fists in the air, I got the tingles, and I just knew that he was my man.
They all running plays, man. It's all for $1. Get as many eyes on this as possible. This is who I'm going for today. This is who I'm going for tomorrow. But more importantly, right now it's about the code. The woman code is speaking volumes, and you're not going to get around it. That's why I mentioned before, the wigs and everything else. That's a part of the uniform. For a certain crowd of the code. Another crowd is those that read the bell hooks and what's the other one they follow? Gloria
Steinem.
Gloria Steinem, and grew up. There's a part that grew up with the Barbie. There's a part that grew up under powerful rich men. They're gonna go to where the bouncing ball is until something else more attractive comes up. And the bouncing ball right now is with Miss Harris, and the momentum is there. So why not get $1? Even being on the antagonist side will get you $1. Because they say that the least popular opinion is usually the most critical thinking popular opinion. Same bullshit. Excuse my French. Same thing.
Well, what's interesting too is, we've not been allowed to even critique this stuff over the years.
Right.
That's the part that's even you would say crazy about it, because it would not have gotten to this stage. And I think if we would have ended up with a Kamala, she wouldn't be the kind of Kamala that we see today if we were able for the past 50 years to actually be able to speak about, some of these black women who, as soon as you say something against black women, you were always, even though you can see her engaging in crappy behavior right there in your face, you're automatically told that you're engaging in misogynistic behavior.
Actually, the ultimate finger point is going to be, well, it was you black men that made her this way.
Yeah. Always.
She wouldn't be in the streets if you didn't take care of her. Yeah, right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That part.
So how can we move forward as a people if our women are like this?
Be on your purpose. Vote your interest.
Now, I don't know, man.
Be on your purpose. Like you said earlier, you taught your daughter about the preservation of the food is something simple. It's a simple lesson, but it spoke volumes where you didn't have to say nothing else. You know,
True.
that which is real is going to help you. It's going to nourish you. It's going to help you move on to the next level. But you got to understand where it came from and why it was there. She didn't understand Y2K was before her time. Now she know it's still sustenance there.
And I
Still
think we need to
value.
have, and I think we really need to have some man training.
Mhm.
And it needs to get as much airplay as young black girl magic in STEM. You know what I mean? We have to make sure not only do we see it in terms of we're promoting it, but we also people see it by our actions and our behavior.
Do you brothers think that a lot of the, Meg Thee Stallion, and she got everything on that's supposed to, she got the uniform on, like Brother Mega just said, she got the uniform on, and she's doing her twerker's delight, whatever she likes to do that way. Is this a ploy to keep brothers in check so that they vote in the uniform way that they used to vote?
Nah, because most brothers that I know that saw that, brother, brother, I have yet to find a brother who thought that made sense.
But there are some thirst brothers out there that's keeping these 304s in power and paid to the gills, my man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. Teddy coming over with that rent money.
Mr. Teddy.
Yeah.
Mr. Leroy.
Messing up the game for the young brothers.
Well, you think he ain't gonna be around
Mr. Leroy, who you vote for, Mr. Leroy?
What's that girl name?
Yeah,
the horse girl.
Yeah, man.
And it's funny. She's Meg Thee Stallion, and she probably got, back in the day, it used to be horsehair. It's called horsehair. But she Meg Thee Stallion with the weave. Ain't that something?
Now look, she's a college graduate. She's actually a college graduate. Very intelligent.
Oh, she is. She went to HBCU. I can guarantee you she don't get no money back to him.
Now, you saw the sister that was on the YouTube video, and you asked yourselves what we talked about with the homeschool piece. Why are people willing to put their whole piece online? Like, I do the show, but that's to give brothers and sisters a forum to build and develop and be better. Talk through these things that are often confusing and we get mixed messages about and leading messages about. But we got people who like that who don't care. They'll get online. They'll expose all their private whatever just to, doing it for the clout, as they say, doing it for the clout, whatever it could bring them, whatever accoutrement, whatever it could bring them, they're willing, they down for it. And to take it a step further, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but there's a couple of things that these politicians are using right now with the influencers. And I guess after she's done with her corn career, she wants to go on and be an influencer because she's done like tons and tons of videos, talking politics, MAGA, talking relationships and divesting. And this is her like every day. This is her regular, she's a speakeasy now. But here's what I found. Republicans and Democratic organizations are paying influencers to come online and talk. They talk, bigging up whatever candidate it is. Now that ain't nothing different than what the preachers used to do. Preachers, the social media cats, they the new preachers, right? But it's interesting that the family needs to know how they're doing it and what it is. So it's these two companies. One's called Launch Media. One is called Launch Media. And this is an actual site. And you could go on Launch Media and you could see the actual advertisement. And they fact checked this. This was a real thing. It says paid post opportunity. We're offering $150 paid cash bonus incentive as a small token of appreciation for those who are selected. What we're asking you to do, encourage your fans to share, like, and follow. Kamala Harris, post one or more memes only using our pre-approved assets. So this is one site called Launch Media, and the other site that the Republicans use is called Influenza.
Oh my goodness. Ain't that what the dude got arrested for? Oh my God.
Right. Influenza. Right. So these are the two joints popping. And then when you see these people's popularity going through the roof overnight, you know what I mean? It has to be attributed to some of this stuff here. What do y'all think of this new wave of paying gullible but willing people, social media influencers? I ain't get a call, but willing social media influencers, paying them to, make these candidates popular. What are your thoughts?
I think one, it's just the time we live in because of the way technology is and social media and stuff like that. And it's a good strategy. But the problem is you find there's a lot of us who have hoarded themselves out to the highest bidder. Or some of them, like the sister, her porn career is over. Because the reality is, your porn career can only last for so long. And since she don't want to be bothered with brothers, white boys don't want her once she passed 19. So she got to make that money somehow.
I'm sorry, I got to do this.
Dope. Excellent. As always.
So, and the ones that are doing it, they're going in hook, line, and sinker, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just like, yo, I got to make this money. And so what happens, they notice it's short term. It's a temp job, a gig in the gig economy. So how do I keep it going when I finish?
That's right.
So y'all just at home. We co-sign what Brother Mozzie is building on right now. Y'all at home, please be vigilant about who y'all giving to, where you giving to. Do your diligence. There's enough information out there. I want to get into one more thing if y'all brothers got time. I know it's only 10. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I'll give you guys the grace and the opportunity. What y'all want to talk about, man? Project Operation Mockingbird, or do y'all want to talk about Bohemian Grove and the Trump assassination?
Both of those are gonna have us on here for another hour.
Do it.
I meant to bring it up earlier, but we got Waylee's on to way.
I think we need to use those. That's our caveat for next week.
God dog it. Damn.
Yeah. All right. So I'll tease it for next week.
That's heavy.
So the Bohemian Grove happened to be the same day as the Trump assassination. And in the Bohemian Grove, it's the globalist clandestine groups that gather in Bohemian Grove in California, and they've been exposed before. But I truly believe that there's no accidents on the edit room floor. If these people wanted to be exposed, they'd be exposed. So they let them people in. They let them get whatever footage they got. What's more interesting about Bohemian Grove is they do this ceremony called. Let me tell what they're there for. It's the Fortune 2000 global elite clandestine groups, Freemason and the like. They all get together and they have meetings, series of meetings. And then they enjoy themselves. They get together and they do all of the quote unquote mingling and it's a if you ever seen Porky's, the movie.
Well, I was gonna say American Pie.
If you remember back in the days, Animal House, Porky's, Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, that's what you're dealing with, right? At Bohemian Grove, right? And then they do this ceremony to kick it off called the Cremation of Care. I don't know if you guys are hip to that. You guys are involved in any of that? Not involved, but do you guys know of it? Yeah, they do this thing called the Cremation of Care. And I'll tell you guys more about that next week. But it's very, very interesting that once they leave there, they all leave there with kind of their little clandestine marching orders for the next 2 to 5 years, however many times they have Bohemian Grove. And then, there always has to be some sort of like ritualistic sacrifice that goes along with the ceremonies or whatever they're trying to invoke. So it's almost like, you see the hoodoo or the voodoo, and they would sacrifice a chicken, or they would do different little things, blood work, different little things to celebrate and move and matriculate on whatever you would do. Well, this is no different. It's a sacrifice ceremony of sorts. And they, get rid of these, they have a ritual offering, if you will. And then, of course, your resident busybody, Alex Jones, was all over it. And they let 4 Gen Z white boys, crash their party and do a big old taping of it. And,
I like how Tariq Nasheed impersonates Alex Jones. He be like, polka dots and big bank and
right.
Fake media.
Yeah. So next week, tune in for that next week. We're going to get into that some more. And then what was the other piece?
Operation Mockingbird.
Operation Mockingbird. And you see that play out really widely in the Donald Trump, Kamala Harris spectrum of all of the effery that's popping off right now, And it's ill because I did the knowledge of Operation Mockingbird years ago, but then when you do recent research about it and you dig up the recent findings and clips and whatever, man, you would think somebody had a hand up their backside, basically telling these people what to say. It is literally verbatim, like verbatim. It's like they repeating the exact same words, almost like. I mean, you guys got it before when we said.
Didn't they do that? Didn't they show that? It was on one of the. I think it was a YouTube video or something, social media, a few years where they showed every channel. Yep. Everybody said the exact same thing.
Yep, the exact same thing at the exact same time, and it was just like, oh my gosh. So then, how far does that really go? So tune in next week, so we could talk about that. We could build on that. And it's 10 o'clock, everybody. I appreciate everybody watching the Real HD show. Brother Mega, Brother Mozzie, you guys got anything y'all want to drop before we leave?
In the infamous words of Public Enemy, don't believe the hype.
Dope.
That's it.
All right, here we go. Like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your comments so that every time we have a Real HD show, you can have a higher discussion. All right, peace, y'all. Y'all have a good evening, and y'all love on each other. Y'all walk with power. Peace, y'all.